Good evening, everyone. I now call the regular meeting of the Revere School Committee to order. Please rise to salute the flag. Roll call of the members.
Mr. Ferranti?
Here.
Mrs. Gravellisi?
Here.
Mrs. Rizzo? Absent. Mr. Sinella?
Here.
Ms. Ty?
Here.
Mr. Visconti?
Here.
Mayor Arrigo?
Here. First item on our agenda is the recognition portion of our meeting, and that will include a certificate of student recognition for the five Monopoly winners.
So
Dr. Kelly.
if I could, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. I want to congratulate our Monopoly winners. One of the biggest questions we get in Revere High School is, what the heck is Monopoly? And what I can tell you is it's a whole lot of hard work that our students spend a good portion of the year conducting research on a topic of their interest. And then they engage in almost like a competition, if you will, to see who can present the information that they've learned from their research in a compelling manner, and it's judged by people who are well experienced at judging people in presentations and things of that nature. I know that Ms. Ty is one of the favored judges in the competition, but I just want to impress upon everybody that it is a whole lot of hard work, and these kids are so incredible. And, what everybody learns from watching their presentations really just permeates the whole school. I do have a brief video, just about 2.5 minutes, that actually Mr. Amato at the high school and his student interns made on the day that we did the Monopoly presentations this year. And they interviewed student participants, they interviewed teachers to really help people get a feel for what Monopoly is all about and what it looks like. So I'm going to show that video in just a minute, and then after, we're going to invite our 5 winners up, and I would ask that the students will come up to the podium and share a little bit about the research that they did and what they learned from doing their research project, and then we can congratulate them. So here, we'll start with the video.
Something he called Monopoly, but then he didn't say anything else. So myself and about 3 or 4 other teachers ended up asking him after class, what the heck is Monopoly? He told us it was this big school-wide event where every student in the course had to present their research to a group of visiting judges. And at the end of the day, 1 or 2 kids would be named the winners of Monopoly. He gave us a few other details, but not very much. So I came back to Revere High School. I didn't know enough about it, and I was way too scared to do it. But over a period of 2 years, I started piecing together what could possibly be a Monopoly at Revere High School.
So today was Monopoly 2018. Basically, all the AP Link students presented their research projects that we've been doing research about since summer. We all presented our visual arguments right here on the board. We got split up right here in the LC and in the media room. And after that, we got interviewed by 3 panelists, and they interviewed us, asked us questions, deeper information about our projects, and got a better understanding of what we were trying to convey during our presentations.
Today I presented my argument, which was about job violence in primary schools, specifically in Niger. Mine was media's portrayal of terrorism and how that leads into government.
So today I'm here talking about a group of youth that are often forgotten in our everyday society. Here to talk about our foster.
But we need more of these programs in order to help these victims get their lives back and get a better education, healthcare, and overall therapy.
While we are living in the urban century, according to United Nations, over half of the world's population are living in cities.
The anti-vaccine movement is an organized community of individuals who believe the practice of vaccine causes a wide range of health problems.
So at the end of the day, when the students have done all their presentations to all of the judges sit down and they start to divide the $100,000 that their department has, and they award make-believe cash to the students who did the most effective work.
Oh, how do I stop it? Don't do this. So that's a little bit about Myopoly. Hopefully, it makes a little bit of sense. I think the thing to really emphasize is just how much work, time, effort, energy these kids put into the projects and how much everybody else gets out of participating in the Myopoly experience. So I'll get the certificates. I should mention that these are in no specific order. All 5 students are congratulated for their top 5 ranking in Myopoly. And the first one, and again, I'm going to remind the students that you need to tell us a little bit about your project when you come up here. So the first one is to Julia Tran. Is Julia here? The second one is to Arthur Lacerda.
All right, good evening. So my project was about foster youth and more specifically their education rates. So that included a lot of looking at national averages, national statistics. Like many of you might not know, but less than 1% of foster youth will ever graduate from college, which is really stunning. Only about 50% actually graduate high school too. So, and it's not something that most people realize. I wanted to pick a topic that was close to home, something that people could really think about and do something about. So that's why I chose foster youth, because you never know who is a foster youth and who isn't. Thank you.
Our next recipient is Erin Christopher.
My project was on the anti-vaccine movement, and it taught me a lot outside of just my research about being able to respect other people and their opinions, and also go into different statistics that I wouldn't normally look into or really research. I think that Myopoly was a really great experience, since now going into other research projects and kind of continuing my education, I'm a lot more prepared than I would have been.
Our next recipient is Janelle Mercado. Here. And the 5th recipient is Samantha Restrepo Ramirez.
Good evening, everyone. So my research project was on the opioid epidemic, and it was concentrated on New Hampshire specifically. It had to do with how incarcerated addicts don't receive adequate treatment, and because of that, they reoffend and they relapse. And so my purpose was to find a sort of solution that guaranteed that they would continue a healthy lifestyle into recovery, something that was stable and that could be maintained throughout a longer period of time. During my research, I learned a lot about how people view addicts as criminals rather than patients and people who are suffering. And it really hit home for me because I had a friend who was associated with a family who had a heroin addiction, an opioid addiction. And so it was interesting to see how many people are actually suffering from this, especially in a state that's so close to home, so close to Massachusetts. So I thought it was really interesting. I learned a lot, and I definitely think that it was a very important topic to talk about, something I'm very passionate about, and I think it was a great opportunity to not only teach other people over something that is sometimes overlooked, but it also was a very eye-opening experience for me. So thank you so much.
Ms. Tai.
Well, just to congratulate all of you. I have been a judge on Monopoly since the beginning, and I am always impressed. I mean, as a high school teacher, I always knew how smart and how terrific everybody was. But I am more impressed each year with a number of kids who participate in this. The role of a judge is to share the information that we have simply by having lived a lot longer than you folks, and by what we read in current events and by what we know. But I always learn as much as I give. As much as I'm teaching while I'm talking to you, I learn as much in return. And it's a wonderful experience. They talk, they come up, they have a few moments, like I think 8 minutes, they had to explain it. First they showed the video, then we'd meet in groups and they do that. And then we would ask them, well, why did you do it this way? Did you ever think about doing it that way? This is a different approach that you could use. Or these are resources that I personally know about. Maybe you could use those resources too. And then they might share a resource that they used that I find quite interesting, and I would go and read about that. And it is if you notice there was a lot of noise in the background, well, the reason there's a lot of noise is that there's so much learning going on. People are exchanging ideas and getting excited about being able to do that. And I think it's a wonderful experience for me every year. And I thank you so much for letting me participate in that experience with you. And I encourage members of the school committee to sign up. It's just, well, I can't say any more than wonderful. It is just absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms.
You'll
Tai.
love it.
Any other members? Mrs. Gravellisi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to add in, I'm very impressed. The topics were very impressive and, very much close to home to a lot of people in our community. And I would definitely enjoy being at Monopoly next year. Just let us know the date, and we would love to be there. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks, everyone. Great job. Keep up the great work. Want to take a 2-minute recess? All right. Revere School Committee is back to order, and one note that I want to make, I noticed that we are missing a member this evening. Stacy Rizzo is not here, but she is doing her good duty of school committee woman, and she is actually attending a Mass Association of School Committee meeting tonight. So while she's not here, she still has her school committee hat on.
Mr. Chairman, to add to your...
Mr. Sinella.
She is not only doing school committee duties, she's representing the state organization of which she's chair. She was Division 9. I think she moved down to 3.
Urban Caucus, I think, yeah.
But they're getting ready for tomorrow's On the Hill. And Revere has a very large contingent of students who will partake of meeting reps and senators and discussions, lunch, more importantly. And they're excited to go, and I mean, there's nothing like hands-on. So I think she's to be commended, and I'm glad that you made reference to the fact that she isn't here, because that's her duty first. Thank you.
Of course, and she is missed this evening. The next item on our agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have just really 3 brief updates that we wanted to make sure the community had. The first one is regarding the statement of interest at Revere High School. We did submit the paperwork necessary and received notification from MSBA that all of our needed documentation had been received by them prior to the deadline, which was back on April 6th. So everything is submitted. As we are becoming accustomed, this being our 3rd attempt to be invited into the core program, we don't anticipate that we'll have a response from MSBA on whether or not we've been selected until the end of the year, around mid-December. But I just wanted to update everybody and let them know that the paperwork has been submitted, MSBA has received it, and so we continue to pursue a new high school for the city of Revere. The second piece, I'm actually going to throw this to Dr. Vidala, who's going to talk a little bit for us. We've spent a lot of time this year, and as you know, our goal for the school department for the last several years has been to find ways to engage the community more and bring parents and the community into the schools, and also showcase the great work that our students and our teachers and others are doing on a daily basis throughout the district. So this year we came up with a new concept that we hope is going to be an annual event. And we're calling it Celebrating Revere Public Schools. This is part of the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education's Leading the Nation campaign, where they're trying to highlight excellent work in school districts throughout the state. They had asked that Revere Public Schools be one of the school districts that would be featured in that program. And it also is a showcase of the work that our schools are doing with the Massachusetts Consortium for Innovative Educational Assessment. So we have 4 events. We're trying to make it a month of celebration, and I'll toss it now to Dr. Vidala, who's going to talk about each of the 4 events we have scheduled.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. So we are going to be spending the month of May really celebrating what's going on in the schools. The schools are a great sense of pride in Revere, and as part of that, the state has trying to really promote what the work that the kids are doing in Massachusetts as leading the nation. So recently, the test scores across the nation were just released, and Massachusetts once again came out as #1 in the nation in terms of test scores for grades 4, 8, and 12 for reading and math. And while Massachusetts is at the head of that, Revere continues to perform at or above the state level in all areas. So we're very proud of that work, and we're trying to look for ways to really celebrate that. So we're beginning on Tuesday, May 1st, this coming Tuesday, at the West Revere Complex with May the Arts Be With You. Now, this has been an annual event. We have to give credit to all of our fine arts teachers and Dr. Porter, our humanities director, for putting this on. Again, it's at the West Revere Complex from 4:30 to 6 p.m., and this is really a highlight of all of our fine arts. You'll see kids doing poetry slams. You'll see small performances in the auditorium. You'll see some rock ensemble, some different musicians. You'll see different graphic arts and fine arts, and a lot of different pieces of artworks. All of the art and music teachers have really done a great job with that. So that's the first one. And then after that, the following week, on Wednesday, May 9th, at Revere High School, we'll be doing a student showcase from 5 to 8 p.m. And this will be all of our schools, open to all families. And this is in conjunction with the Massachusetts Consortium of Innovative Educational Assessment. So what that is we're looking at different ways to assess students and find ways for them to showcase their work and demonstrate knowledge other than just a paper and pencil test. So we do great on the paper and pencil tests, but we also want to have real life experiences. So we're looking to highlight that on May 9th and really show you some of the in-depth, rigorous activities that kids are doing in the schools and really to show that. So we're excited about that. Another area that we focused on this year is engaging parents. And so we're going to do a PTO showcase on Wednesday, May 16th, also at Revere High School from 5 to 6:30. And we've asked that each PTO, the presidents and some of the members, will come and share some of the excellence that they've done. We'd like to recognize the way that they've really engaged families this year. It's been one of our main goals, is to engage families and community members, and our PTOs are really the pillar of that. So they've done an excellent job there, and they're going to share best practices with one another, and so hopefully we can strengthen all the schools. And then we're going to round out the month on Tuesday, May 24th. We have the partnership with the 5 districts of Revere, Chelsea, Everett, Winthrop, and Malden. And we have, last year we started this where we had an educator showcase where educators from each of the 5 districts are able to do a TED Talk type education talk where they do a brief presentation, and it's really an exciting and dynamic way to demonstrate what some of the teachers are doing. And then we also have an opportunity for a gallery walk of some poster sessions that also share some of the great work that teachers are doing. So this really rounds out things with art, with academic type showcasing, the teachers showcase at the end, and getting the parents involved. So we're really excited to have these 4 areas for the month of May and to celebrate the work that is being done in Revere and across the nation.
Thank you, Dr. Vidala. And then the last brief update I wanted to give to the committee and to families, the people at home, is regarding the middle school lottery, which I think most people know occurred on the Thursday before April vacation. The results have been finalized, and letters will be in the mail tomorrow indicating final placements for all 5th grade students, so parents can anticipate receiving those probably Thursday, if not on Friday. We were able to place 84% of 5th graders into either their first or second choice school. Unfortunately, the remaining 16% got their third choice school. And again, I'll just reiterate that we know that it doesn't make people happy. It doesn't make us happy to have to do a lottery. It's a necessary way for us to find fair placements for all students. But I did want to alert parents that they should be looking for those letters to come in the mail either Thursday or Friday. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Any members have any questions? Next item, we will go to our student representative report. Henry, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, so good evening. There will be a school improvement meeting tomorrow at 3 o'clock at the East Wing Conference Room here at RHS. All are welcome. For those interested in the class of 2018 yearbook, money is due this Friday, and the cost will be $30 for those who put down a deposit and $70 for those who didn't. Junior class is having a dodgeball tournament Tuesday, May 1st from 6 to 8, and tickets will be $5 at the door. May 1st will also be the portfolio and community service hours deadline in order to graduate for the seniors. For seniors, the last day of school will be June 1st, with prom being that night. Prom tickets will go on sale starting next week at $50 a ticket. Seniors cannot purchase a ticket to prom unless they have paid off any fees like candy box money or money for the cap and gown for graduation. And graduation will be June 7th at 6 p.m. at the football stadium.
Any members have any questions? No? Okay. The next item is the consent calendar. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any members would like to take off? Seeing none, we'll call the roll on the consent calendar.
Mr. Franti?
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Mr. Sinella?
Yes.
Ms. Ty?
Yes.
Mr. Visconti?
Yes.
Mayor Arrigo?
Yes. Next item is the report of subcommittees. And,
Mr. Mayor?
Ms. Todd.
The Personnel Subcommittee actually evolved into a committee of the whole, at which we discussed the negotiations that are currently being conducted with the Revere Teachers Association. That is, of course, all privileged information now. At some point, it will be made public. I can only say that we continue to talk about several ways that we can join together to make the school system a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ty. The Budget Subcommittee, Mr. Franti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had our first budget meeting tonight, which was attended by all. We're still, working on, I'm sure there'll be several more meetings. We're waiting for the House and the Senate to come back with their final numbers, hopefully by the middle to the end of May, and at that point, we'll be voting on it. Right now, it's a workable budget, so we're just doing the best we can with it, and hopefully, we'll get some good news down the road. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Franti. Any members have any questions? Nope. On to old business, of which there is none. And new business, there is no new business. School committee interests, Mrs. Gravellisi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to make mention that the request for proposal for the food service management contract has been submitted, and there are some proposals in. An evaluation committee has been formed, and it was appointed by the purchasing agent in the city of Revere. The committee consists of myself, Dr. Vidala, and Matt Cruz. We have decided we're going to form a focus group to get more input from the community as to what they like, what they want, their likes, dislikes, questions, concerns. Obviously, school lunches is always, an important part of the day, breakfast and lunch in the classroom. So the focus group will consist of, hopefully, we would like to engage 2 students, parents, a school health teacher, and a school nurse. So I will be forming that committee soon. We're hoping to have that first meeting next week, and anybody else out there in the public that has any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gravellisi. On to motions.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Sinella.
On the school calendar, I move at this time that it be referred back to the Committee of the Whole for further refinement.
Second.
All in favor, all opposed? Aye. So moved.
Thank you.
Next item is a motion by Mr. Visconti that I will allow Mr. Visconti to speak into the record.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me read the motion first, that the Revere School Committee review current procedures that prohibit community organizations, nonprofits, city athletic leagues, and other relevant groups from distributing hard copy informations, flyers, to parents and students through the school administration. The school administration should consider implementing a process that will allow said groups to distribute hard copy communication that help inform parents and students about community programs and relevant activities.
Second the motion.
Yeah, I'd like to
Mr.
talk about
Visconti, yeah.
I think this motion is a motion for the community programs out there for the children. I think we need to build the youth programs from the ground up, and that's starting from the kindergarten all the way, obviously, to high school. We have the ability to reach from elementary and middle schools approximately 5,000 students, and that means 5,000 parents. These programs, whether it's athletics, registrations, whether it's athletics, nonprofits. I know there's a kite festival coming up in the next couple of weeks. These programs need to be, parents need to be informed about these programs, and we have to do a better job informing these, the parents in the community about these programs. So, that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Visconti. Any other members? We had a second. All in favor, all opposed? Aye. So moved. I think that does it for us this evening. Executive session, which we are not planning to go into. Oh. Yep. The last item on our agenda is public participation. Seeing no members of the public this evening. Oh, hi, Jack. You're like part of the community, part of, the room. The committee stands to be adjourned until May 15th, and at that point, we will reconvene. Thank you.